Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Future You series. I am your host, Emeka. We've had 2 episodes of the Future You series, and you can find them on Spotify. Just scroll back and listen to them so you can follow along as we do this next episode. Today, we'll be looking into a topic that's all about making your money work for you. We'll be talking about smart spending habits. Let's face it, money can feel complicated. Whether you are earning your first paycheck, saving up for something big, or just trying to make your allowance seem to last longer, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by spending decisions. Here's the good news. With a little knowledge and some smart habits, you can take control of your finances and set yourself up for success. That exactly is the objective of the Future You series for teens. We need to equip them with all the tools and confidence they need to have a bright future. In this episode, we're going to explore how to budget, differentiate between needs and wants, and avoid impulsive spending. A lot of us are guilty of that, even adults. We'll also talk about the bigger picture, how smart spending habits can lead to financial freedom, less stress, and more opportunities in life. Plus, I'll share some real-life examples to help you see how these principles play out in the real world. So, grab a notebook, get comfortable, and let's get into it. Before we dive into the how of why smart spending matters, let's talk about the why. Why does smart spending matter? Well, money is a tool. It's not just about buying stuff. It's about creating the life you want. When you spend wisely, you're able to save for goals, avoid debt, and build a sense of security. We've talked about this in the past. On the flip side, impulsive or careless spending can lead to stress, regret, and financial struggles down the road. Nobody wants this. Trust me, you don't want financial struggles. Think about it this way. Every dollar you spend is a choice. You can spend it on something that gives you instant gratification, like a new video game or a fancy coffee, or you can save it for something that will have a bigger impact on your life, like a car, so you can get around faster, college, or even an investment if that's what you want. A lot of people are buying cryptocurrencies now. Smart spending is about making these choices intentionally, so you can live a life that aligns with your values and goals. So let's break this down into steps. Step 1, budgeting, which I would call your financial blueprint. This is the foundation of smart spending. That's budgeting. A budget is simply a plan for how you'll spend your money. It doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, the simpler it is, the better. Here's how to create a basic budget. The first thing you need to do, I always tell people, before you plan anything finance, you have to have income. So when you've secured income, you need to track your income. Okay? Start by figuring out how much money you have coming in. Evaluate all the sources of income you have and make sure you know exactly, or to a great degree, how much money you are bringing in. This could be from a part-time job, from an allowance, a birthday, or any other source. Whatever it is, figure out what your source of income is. And then you go on to the next step of listing your expenses. Write down all your expenses. These can be divided into 2 categories. Fixed expense, things you have to pay for, like phone bills or bus fare, that don't vary. They're almost always the same. Or variable expenses, which are things that can change, like entertainment, probably groceries, going out to drink, snacks, and things like that. Your rent, your car payment, your phone bill, your insurance are all fixed expense. You can't change them. They're almost always coming at the same amount. So know the difference between these two. After you've done all of this, you need to set the goals that you want. You can be very modest. What are you saving for? A new laptop, a trip with friends? Write down your goals and assign a dollar amount to them. This is a critical step. If you write it down, then you can visualize it, and then hopefully you can start to see it materialize in real life. After you've set your goals, allocate your money. Use the 50-30-20 rule as a guideline. Spend 50% of the money on needs, 30% on wants, and 20% on savings. To put this in a better context, spend 50% on fixed expense, 30% on variables, and the rest you can save. Let's say you earn $200 a month from a part-time job. If you use the 50-30-20 rule, you'd allocate $100 to needs like saving for a car, $60 to things like movies or clothes, and $40 to savings. This way, you're covering your bases while you're still having fun, because it's important to have fun if you're a teen. Very important. Now, let's break down needs versus wants. This would be the spending filter. One of the biggest challenges of smart spending is figuring out the difference between needs and wants. Needs are things you can live without, like food, shelter, and basic clothing. You can't live without these things. They are the basic needs of life. Wants, on the other hand, are things that can make life more enjoyable but aren't essential, like designer clothes, video games, or eating out. Here's a simple trick. Before you buy something, ask yourself, do I need this, or do I just want it? If it's a want, consider whether it aligns with your goals, the ones you wrote down. For example, if you're saving for a car, maybe a new pair of shoes can wait. If you're at the mall with friends, for example, and you see a cool jacket that costs $80, you already have a jacket at home. So this is clearly a want. Ask yourself, is this jacket worth delaying my savings goal? If the answer is no, walk away. But if you've been wanting this jacket for months and it's within your budget for once, go for it. Just make sure it's a conscious decision. Asking yourself these questions help you make a conscious decision of whether to buy or not to buy. Avoid impulsive spending. Impulsive spending is the enemy of smart spending. It's when you buy something on a whim without thinking about whether you really need it or can afford it. The good news, there's a simple way to combat this. It's called the 24-hour rule. Here's how it works. If you see something you want to buy, wait 24 hours before making the purchase. This gives you time to think about whether it's worth it. Often, you'll find that the urge to buy fades. If it's truly a want, the urge to buy will fade, and then you'll be glad you didn't spend the money. Let's say you're scrolling online and you see a limited time sale on sneakers. They're $100 and you're tempted to buy them right away. Instead, you decide to wait 24 hours. During that time, you realize you already have a similar pair of sneakers and don't really need another one. By waiting, you saved yourself $100 and stayed on track with your budget. Let's look at the bigger picture on how smart spending can lead to financial freedom. Let's zoom out and talk about, how all of these things impact your life in the grand scheme of things. Smart spending isn't just about saving money. It's about creating a life of freedom and opportunity. When you spend wisely, you're able to save for big goals. Whether it's college, a car, or a dream vacation, smart spending helps you reach your goals faster because you can track them. Smart spending helps you avoid debt. By living within your means and avoiding impulsive purchases, you can steer clear of credit card debt and other financial pitfalls. This is a good one. A lot of people need smart spending to avoid debts. Smart spending helps you invest in your future because the money you save can be put into investments that grow over time. You can buy stocks, you can buy bonds, or even invest in your own education. Whatever you want to do, make sure you talk to a financial advisor. I am not a financial advisor, and I am not giving you financial advice. I'm just, telling you the principles of life. Smart spending reduces stress. Financial stress is one of the biggest sources of anxiety for adults. By building smart spending habits now, you're setting yourself up for a more peaceful and secure future. When Sarah was 16, she started budgeting and saving 20% of her paycheck from her part-time job. By the time she graduated high school, she had saved $2,000. She used that money to buy a used car, which allowed her to commute to college and take on internships. Today, Sarah is debt-free, has a great job, and is saving to buy her dream home. Her smart spending habits as a teen set her up for long-term success. Now, it's not always this simple, but it's an example of what you can do and the results you can get. What about the tips for building smart spending habits? Let's look at some practical ones. Use cash or a debit card. Avoid using credit cards unless you are confident you can pay them off in full each month. If you want to use credit cards, make sure you have the discipline to not overspend and also the discipline to pay it off. Track your spending. Use an app or a notebook to keep track of where your money goes. You can use Excel. I like Excel. I've fallen in love with Excel and I preach it to anyone. Please learn Excel. Doing this, keeping track of your spending, will help you identify areas where you can cut back, because when you write down your expenditure, you can see them and you would be like, ooh, I spent $200 on candies. Wow, that's got to stop. You can cancel it out. If you don't write it down, you can't see it, you can't control it, you can't cut down unnecessary expenditure. Set spending limits. Give yourself a weekly or monthly limit for discretionary spending, like eating out or entertainment. I won't spend more than $50 or $100 this month on eating out or going out to drink, something like that. Find anything to use as an example that suits your purpose. And then, most importantly, celebrate small wins. If you stuck to your budget, please celebrate it. Treat yourself to something small, of course, within your budget as a reward. You can buy yourself a pen, you can buy yourself a snack, whatever it is you want to do to celebrate it. Don't say, oh, I saved $100 and so I'll spend $200 to celebrate it. That defeats the purpose. That's not what we're talking about here. But whatever you do, remember to celebrate. As we wrap up, smart spending is about more than just saving money. It's about making intentional choices that align with your goals and values. By budgeting, differentiating between needs and wants, and avoiding impulsive spending, you're setting yourself up for a life of financial freedom and opportunity. Remember, it's not about being perfect. Trying alone is enough. It's about progress. Start small, Stay consistent and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every dollar you save, every smart spending decision you make is a step toward a brighter future. And that's it from me to you today. Thank you for tuning in to the Future You series. If you found this episode impactful, helpful, share it with a friend or leave us a review on Spotify. And remember, the best time to start building your future is today. Until next time, take care and keep growing. My name is Emeka. Bye-bye.